Breathe in. Welcome to What the Fuchs with Jess Fuchs. Now breathe out.
And scream.
Because here's what's pissed Jess off this week. Oh my God. Let's get into it because I have to tell you, this is it. This is the last episode. For now, psych, got ya. But I am going to take a small hiatus because we're just jumping in. I got to tell you, it's a me, Mario. It's a busy fucking time. I can't lie to you. I am overwhelmed, understaffed. We are getting our life rafts out. This is 1912. The Titanic is sinking, and I am both Rose and also Leonardo DiCaprio holding onto the door. You know that a man has never moved past a certain role when people don't remember the name of the character, but Leonardo DiCaprio holding the door. Jack? I think it was Jack. But I've got to tell you, the next couple months for me are going to be a lot worse than I realized, and that all came to a head this past week when I had a small but significant breakdown to my parents, whom I, say it with me, still live with. And I just realized it's too much. It's too much. I'm doing too much. I'm trying to achieve too much simultaneously, and a woman can have it all. She can have children and a job and a husband, but I can't seem to have even one of those things. So I need to just focus up. Get it together. And you guys know one of the things I really wanted to achieve this year was figuring out how to line my lips. I still can't even do that. We're in March. We're cresting April, and I don't know how to line my lips. That's because I've been busy. So the way it's going to work is like this, and we'll discuss it throughout. But today I actually want to really talk about flirting. That's really why I'm here. I'm talking about flirting. We're going to get into that. But if you're sitting there and you're like, oh, but I love the podcasts. Thank you, I know you do. And you're like, oh, fuck, like, what do I do? You know, what you do is you support me. You put on your armor, you get your knife, you sharpen your fucking sword, and you buy a ticket to the Melbourne Comedy Festival. You buy a ticket to the Sydney Comedy Festival. But Jess, I don't live in either of those cities. I don't know, man. Call someone who does. Tell them to go. You know, people, this world is a lot smaller. Share the poster. How about that? I don't care if it's virtue signaling. I don't care if you're doing it as a little favor to seem like you're cool and to seem like you support a woman in the arts. Fucking get that tile on that grid. On the grid. Whoa, that's presumptuous. Presumptuous? Yeah, that's a word. I need to stop. See, if I had more time and wasn't so busy, I wouldn't second guess myself. But half my time is spent second guessing myself. And that's why maybe I get a headache. So we'll dive into the flirting and stuff like that, but I just want to say, this is, I think, episode 24. We've had a good run, honestly. I think I haven't missed a single week. I did 1 week from Melbourne, if anyone remembers that. That was an emergency. Well, felt like it. I am going to continue. I'm going to try to do an episode like once I'm in Melbourne in a couple weeks, just as like a little life catch-up, complaining about probably whatever. Also, I'm realizing my boob is sticking out of this bra. You know when you buy a bra from ASOS and you're like, this fits weird? It's like, yeah. You didn't have a hefty woman sizing you up with a soft measuring tape and breathing heavily in your ear while you both sweat on each other. That is the quintessential way to get your breasts checked when you're getting your bra fitted. I don't know if any of you have been to a bra fitting, but it's always a big woman. She's always, as long as she is wide, and she is always more than happy to wrap her arms around you. And you know what? In this point in my life, touch-starved and all, I'm pretty happy with that. I want to talk about flirting. We're not slowing down today because I have a limited amount of time and I have a lot to say, and we've got to get into it, and we've got to get into it hard and fast. Okay. So I want to talk about flirting because I've been pretty deep into the Reddit threads. Now, if you're not a fan of Reddit, I don't know what to tell you. Reddit is just the worst and best parts of the internet. It's kind of like Twitter. I mean, if you don't know what Reddit is, you're not going to know what Twitter is. So just don't worry. It's a platform where a lot of people get together. They can be quite anonymous. The worlds that I've been dipping my toe into are pretty much incel adjacent. Now, an incel, involuntary celibate. Am I that? I'm not going to put myself in that camp. Those guys aren't. You don't want to be associated. But I have been touch-starved because I've retired from flirting. And a lot of my show this year in the Melbourne Festival and Sydney Festival, I really dive deep into it because I have to talk about it with someone. Because I can only see my therapist once a month. And so she gets an earful, but you know what? The rest of you are getting a fucking mouthful. And I wish I was too, if you know what I'm saying. So, I decided to take myself out of the game. I've been flirting off and on the apps for, the last year. And I hit January and I just thought, oh, fuck me dead. The apps are the most depressing thing imaginable on the internet. You think that going on YouTube and all the comments, and you think that being, Instagram is making everyone compare themselves to celebrities and thin people who have Botox and, whatever. No. Because at least on Instagram, when I'm looking through Instagram, I'm flipping through Instagram, I'm scrolling, I can see clearly that your photo has been doctored by AI. But you put me on the dating apps and I am flipping through. The other week I was with some friends and I had the app and we were talking, having a beautiful catch up, and I catch myself using the app like a fidget spinner. I'm swiping on real people like they are pieces of meat, like a person who's anxious using a fidget spinner to distract themselves while they try to connect emotionally. That was me on the app. Left, right, right, left. I'm going blind with the power of just swiping on people like they aren't humans. I mean, we have become so desensitized to the fact that the people we pass on like meat at a butcher, that you walk past and go, nope, don't want lamb, don't want this, don't want that. Completely desensitized. So I also feel like shit on the apps. I just feel terrible. I mean, first of all, Hinge will tell you who you're most compatible with. Hey, that makes me want to hop to Bunnings and get a little bit of rope. They are the most insulting. What are we most compatible on? Has some AI algorithm decided that I'm a 4 and this guy is a 3, and so we must be within 1 point system of each other, put each other together? Fuck off. Oh. Then you match with someone, let's say on a Bumble. Bumble, you have to put out first. I'll send a cute message. Maybe you get one back and forth to someone before they're like, anyway, cut the small talk, sit on my face. Sit on my face. My grandfather lived through a war. Sit on my face. It's 10 a.m. How are you firing off messages like that? And I don't expect there to be much chivalry left. I don't expect there to be conventional gender roles. I don't need that. But come on, be a little bit of a gentleman. And that can go both ways. I'm not getting on the apps at 10 a.m. and being like, I don't even know what's the equivalent of sit on my face for a man? I don't want you sitting on my face. I've been around enough boys in my lifetime. They're disgusting. They're unclean. I don't want you sitting on my face until you've had a full scrub down. Go to the spa, get a full seaweed scrub, and then we can talk about you planting your fucking cheeks on my face. This is the moneymaker. You can't come anywhere near this billion-dollar face. 7 generations of women didn't give birth and combine their DNA together to give birth to this gemstone for you to just pop it in your ass. Fuck off. That's something I learned recently, that every human is made up of 7 generations of DNA. So like great-great-great-grandmother, like her DNA is still in you. That's how strong the genes are. Anyway, so I decided I'm going to delete all of the apps. I deleted them around January or whatever, February. And I just thought, I'm just going to raw dog it. I'm just going to manifest. I'm going to just live my life because I'm so busy anyway. I just don't have the mental capacity to like feel shit at the end of every night and then not be able to fall asleep and wonder why I can't fall asleep. So now, deleted the app so I'm not doom scrolling at night watching TV, just mindlessly fidget spinnering these men, these poor men. And then also reading, but anyway, my sleep's gotten a little bit better, so that's good to know. Like, we are making progress on this podcast. I hope that's felt in the DNA of this place. Here's the thing with flirting and then the pipeline through to touch starved, which will kind of connect. Me doing that meme of the woman doing all the math, like that's me right now trying to explain everything. So, decided to get off the apps, and if you are on the apps and you love it, I want to say congratulations. I love you. I am so proud of you for being that kind of person. But I want to say, if you're on the apps and they make you feel like shit, just delete them. It'll also force you into more social situations in real life. Not that it's done that for me, but I mean, in some ways it has. This year, as I've said before, I was finding myself utterly bored by my life because it's so Groundhog Day. Every fucking day I do the same thing and I love what I do. I am so happy I get to have the job that I have, but at the same time, it's like so rinse repeat. So I am trying to like do more stuff, to say yes to more opportunities, go out with, different groups of people to different kinds of events, whatever. And I do think in part, like, deleting apps was like kind of fun because I was like, okay, if you want to potentially meet people, like, you are going to have to be quite, like, go to the birthday party you don't necessarily want to go to. You won't talk to anyone that you don't know. Like, I went to someone's birthday party a couple weeks ago. Do you think I spoke to anyone? No, I spoke to the same idiots I already know. But hey, at least I was in the neighborhood. I wasn't in the house, but I was in the neighborhood. And in this metaphor, I guess the man is the house. So I consider myself an incredible flirt. I think the problem almost is that I'm so incredible at flirting that I'm too good at it, that then people don't get that I'm not nervous about it. And so I think then people think I'm kidding. Or not kidding, but like, I can't really articulate. Like, I'll be so good at flirting and then someone else is really good at flirting. And then I think they think I'm like doing a bit, like being funny with them. And I'm like, no, I'm just being really flirty. I don't know how to put it into words. So part of the retiring from the apps is kind of using that flirting muscle in real life. However, what I want to do is just use some facts. And by facts, I mean WikiHow. And by WikiHow, I mean we are going to Google, or rather read WikiHow, how do we flirt? Because I want to check what I'm doing. I want to check what you guys are doing. And I just want to do a refresher. Now, I don't really know who writes these articles, so it very well may be terrible, but we are going to dive into WikiHow, and we are just going to get in there. We may, as I said, I've been pretty deep on the Reddit threads. It's been me and a bunch of incel dudes talking about being touch-starved. And touch-starved is the direct pipeline of when you retire from flirting, don't use the apps, and then you head over into the avenue of touch-starved. Touch-starved basically is, and this is what I'm talking about in my show, as I said, just really craving a man to just put his whole body weight on top of me. That's what I just want you to squash the sadness out of me. And sometimes I provide that service for my homosexual friends when they're particularly antsy. I'll just lie right on top of them, put my whole body weight on top of them. I love to provide the service, but my main gay, Gabriel, is no longer with us. He hasn't died, he's just moved. And so I don't have a man, and he's too thin. He's jacked, but I need him to be at least 15 kilos heavier to really get the anxiety out of me. Okay, now let's deep dive, shall we, into Wiki how to flirt. I will say one thing about flirting. I think I've gotten a lot better as I've gotten older, more confident. I think that's typical. But maybe this is, did I move to America before this happened, or is this after COVID? I'm truly lost on the timeline for this anecdote, but I just want to say, maybe I was visiting Australia. Once upon a time, in a far, far land of Bondi Junction, Sydney, where I live, there was a really hot group of guys who lived in the share house next door. And there was a prince in this share house, and he was very hot. I believe his name was Will. If any of you know him, send him my way. He's probably happily married. And Will and I caught eyes a couple of times when he was coming and going. And of course, the Princess Jess was embarrassed that she was still living in the kingdom. But at the same time, I just thought maybe we knock the walls down between the share house and the share house and we live in one happy kingdom altogether. Marriage did used to be about land and animals. And, Will and I can get married and happy days. We have a big plot of land in an expensive suburb. So we would see each other and we exchanged some like flirty whatever. And it must have been when I was visiting, because I remember saying I live in America or something like that and whatever. He also, from memory, had a back injury and had to have back surgery. Anyway, we had bumped into each other a bunch of times and would like have a chat and a flirt. And I remember saying to my friend, okay, next time I see him, I'm going to ask him out. And oh no, I said I'm gonna think of a way to like kind of make us connected and like maybe make like get to a point where we like share numbers or like Instagram or something. Anyway, I see him and then he tells me that he's going out this weekend with his friends and whatever, and then I was like, oh, I might go out. I think I said something like that. And then nothing happened. We go our separate ways. And then I was telling my friend, and my friend was like, oh my God, why don't you ask him like where he's gonna go, and you can be like, oh cool, like I'll come see you there. So then, I don't know why, but I said to my friend, yeah, I was hatching a plan. And she's like, okay, what is the plan? And I was like, my plan is I'm going to say to him, like, hey, so, like, you go out this weekend, I'm going to go out this weekend. Like, should we share an Uber to, like, wherever we're going, like, our separate places? And my friend goes, why the fuck would you just suggest to share an Uber? Like, that's so weird. I don't think it's weird. I don't think it's the best move. I think I was a younger woman. I think I was not sure what I was doing as a young woman because I was probably 20 something, 23. And yeah, maybe some of you were better at 23 than that. But that's all I had. That's all I was capable of. This man was having back surgery. You know what I mean? I don't know how soft this man is. I don't know if he's got brittle bones. I can't go so hard that he gets blown over, this poor man. Anyway, I don't think I saw him again, and then him and his boys moved out, and now there's a bunch of girls there, and I don't care about that. Now, when we Google this, and I'm just sharing so that if you want to do some research on your own time, you do your own independent research. I want all of you to be scientists. Don't ever think that you have to do what I'm doing because I'm doing something. You're allowed to do your independent research and believe what you want to believe. So I've Googled simply WikiHow to flirt. We have a variety of our options. We may dive into one of these specifically, but we don't have the time, to be honest, nor the energy for all of them. The first is 3 ways to flirt. That sounds exciting. How to flirt with a guy, in brackets with pictures. That is quite tailored to us, and we do like visuals. As a dyslexic, I do thrive when I have some visuals. My favorite thing to read is a picture book, which is basically just a TV show. My favorite thing to read are the subtitles of a TV show. How to hit a girl up you're interested in, not for us. 84 Riz lines to flirt with that special someone. How to flirt with your crush. Now, crush is gender neutral, which I do appreciate. The things that I am kind of moving toward first is how to flirt with a guy, in brackets with pictures. Let's get into that. Flirting with a cute guy. So this is just article details. We're diving right in. Flirting with a cute guy might seem like an impossible task, but it's easier than you think. You can flirt with a guy from across the room by relying on friendly body language like a coy smile or a playful hair flip. To flirt with him in person, light touching, playful teasing, and sincere compliments work well. Now, I do all of these, but no one takes me seriously. I'm not kidding. In the game of flirting, I don't think I'm taken seriously because maybe I'm being too silly. That's impossible. Flirting via text can be done with compliments and invitations to hang out, or invitations to share an Uber to a non-shared destination. Things you should know. This is very important. Everyone, listen up. Stop what you're doing. Listen up. Flirt with stranger in public by flashing a smile and flipping your hair, and make sure you show up looking clean and well dressed. I will say I do have some friends who are in relationships and they're dirty and their partners are dirty. So the clean and well dressed thing, I would say, is not a necessity if you're worried about that for yourself. Ask him thoughtful questions and offer him sweet compliments. Exit the conversation while he's still engaged so you leave him wanting more. I agree with that. I think that's with anyone. I think friendship, you can still flirt in friend. I think friendship is flirting. I flirt with my friends, as you should. Keep them on their toes, make them feel silly, special, a little bit silly and flirty. Absolutely. I do think leave them wanting more is not my strong suit. Like, I am quite myself, quite quickly. My friend Aaliyah once messaged me on a random Tuesday and said, I think I figured out why we're single. I said, why we? Feel free to share why you're single. I don't need your help. And she said, because we're to ourselves immediately. And I said, hey, thank you for the text. You're not wrong. Keep him entertained over text by paying him flirty compliments and sending him cute pictures from your daily life. That feels a bit much. Now we're getting into the parts. Now this is part 1 of 3, flirting from across the room. And I will share the image on the screen. It is diabolical. Make eye contact. Eye contact is a key flirting technique which can be implemented anywhere at any time as long as your crush is in sight. While you don't want it to look like you're staring deep into the soul, lingering eye contact will show him you're interested. It will also be a good indicator of his interest. If he holds the eye contact, he's probably into you. If he looks away, he might just be shy. So, which is it? See, this is the bullshit that I'm over with conflicting information. What I will say is the audacity for people in relationships or just people in general to try give feedback to me, to other people about flirting, about you just have to be more vulnerable because people can tell what? I'm standing across the room. You can't tell that I'm not vulnerable from across the room. I'm sitting there like you, bitch. I've just got 30 kilos on you. What? Oh, because we're not turning this into a fat thin thing. And you know I could turn any situation to a fat thin thing because it's fun. One good trick is to look directly at him until he catches you looking. creepy. When he does, hold eye contact for a moment or two before smiling and looking away. Now, for those of you who are watching, you will get a visual representation right now. So it was, one good trick is looking directly at him until he catches you looking. When he does, hold eye contact for a moment. Okay, so this is it. So you guys, the camera, are the people. So I'm going to just pretend you haven't looked at me yet. So now you've looked at me. So I'm going to hold eye contact and then look away. I feel like I do that with everyone I walk past. Do you ever have days where you think every single person in the whole world is staring at you when you walk past? You're like, is something in my teeth? Is my hair messy? Every single person is obsessed staring at me. If you're feeling particularly cheeky, you could throw in a wink. I think I'm a bit smoother with my right wink, but I'm ambidextrous, so that must apply to winks too. But I don't think wink is my vibe. I think wink is not it for me. Okay, option number 2, smile. Studies have shown that smiling actually makes you more attractive to other people. So work that to your advantage by flashing those pearly whites. Smiling makes you seem friendlier and more approachable, which might be just the push your crush needs to come over and talk to you. Smiling will also make you feel happier and more confident, 2 essential ingredients of successful flirting. Okay. I'm conflicted by smile as a recommendation because of the whole stereotype of women being like, you need to smile more. But then for science to be like, it'll make you more approachable. But see, sometimes women, no. I think the advice to smile more is very specific environments. If you are flirting and you want to be approachable, hey ladies, smile more. I'll say that. That'll be my advice, smile more. But in every other situation, if someone tells you to smile more, you put your fingers up and you say, come near me, cunt. I will take you down with my gun. And by gun, I mean whatever you've got with you. If it's a key, you just jab that right into the person's eye. If they tell you to smile more, use violence at this point. This is the image attached to the smile recommendation. Now for the last one, use body language. Even if you haven't opened your mouth, you can say a great deal using just your body language. Smiling and eye contact are part of this, but there are a few other things you should be aware of. Oh God, everyone, quickly pay attention. So this is the image, because I think it's going to come up in a minute as a reference point. The image is a woman. She has her hand in a fist by her cheek. The man is staring at her. I don't really get what that is, but we'll find out. Don't cross your arms. Crossing your arms is like the opposite of smiling. It makes you seem closed off and unapproachable, thus scaring your man away. Some people do this unconsciously when they're nervous. I do agree with that. When I'm performing and I'm a bit self-conscious or I'm not sure I'm doing a good job, I do tend to cross my arms or put one arm on the other arm where the microphone is. I've noticed that about myself. I've cracked that habit. Thank God. That was end of last year's habit cracking. Flip your hair. Flipping your hair is a very feminine action. See, maybe I'm not doing enough hair flips, but hair flipping just feels so like, what? Do you know what I mean? I'm flipping my hair right now if you can't see. Flipping the hair that seems stupid. Flipping your hair is very feminine action as it draws attention to your luscious locks. It is also a well-recognized flirty action. So, if you flip or play with your hair in front of a guy, he'll probably know you're flirting with him. Now, I think I would be much more into playing, whether it's just like touching, like twirling, rather than a flip. I think a flip to me is so insane because I can't even think of a time where I naturally flip my hair. Play with your jewelry. Playing with jewelry such as a necklace draws attention to your neckline, which many guys find attractive in a girl. Fascinating. So now I have to start buying jewelry in order to find a mate. I mean, it is just the endless list. Oh, there's more tips. Oh my God, I thought it was only 3. God, this article's going forever. I think I'm over it. Fuck, this is boring. Tip 4, find subtle ways to put yourself in his path. Stalk the man is tip 4. In order to flirt, you need to be around the object of your affection as often as possible. Make a conscious effort to put yourself in his path without seeming too obvious. Walk past his desk on your way out of the door, or take your dog to the same park he plays soccer at. Be careful not to overdo this, though, or you'll end up looking like a stalker. Yep, called that. I had a boss that I had a huge crush on. Yes, he was married. Yes, he had children. Yes, he was not even interested in me. In saying that, though, he was interested in me as a person. I think he liked me as a person, which is heartbreaking. Especially with men. This is going to sound so unhinged, but sometimes I'll get men following me on Instagram and I go, for what? I'm not for you. I'm not for you at all. So I don't really understand. That reminds me, I am going to go on a rant about something and then we'll come back to part number 5. I put my special up this week. If you haven't watched it, that is another way that you can support me if you are not in my city. Go watch the special. Now, On the poster on my Instagram, a man who doesn't follow me tags another man who doesn't follow me. They both like it. Now they both like the comment. So they're mocking me. What I want to say to that is, yes, I got incredibly mad. Too mad. Mad enough that it confirms the stereotype that women are mentally unhinged. Even though, hey, men punch hole in walls for less. But what I'll say is, I spiraled. I was like, fuck you and your little dick friend. And I start stalking the one who's on public. And I thought about the most recent picture, which is him and his girlfriend or his wife posting a photo that they're expecting a child. And I was so close to leaving a comment. I hope that this baby is a girl who becomes a comedian who then two fuck boys leave comments on. And I put a poll on close friends and I said, should I do it? And 50% of them said no and 50% of them said yes. And I said, this data is very telling of the personalities in my close friends. It is split pretty evenly and I can see the exact kinds of personalities. The same people that, everyone who said yes has the same vibe and everyone who said no is the same vibe. So I loved that as just kind of like some data collection on my friendship group. But my complaint with all of this is what I make is not for you, straight man. If you happen to like it, thank you so much. Like it. But it is not for the average straight man who doesn't like women. Don't comment on something. Don't like it. Don't be mean. Fuck off. Not everything put on the internet is for men. Not everything put on the internet by women, by gay people, by whatever your intersection is for these fucking ugly straight men who trick these stupid women into taking their semen and turning it into another baby. Why that woman is having a child with that fucking loser, I don't know. Desperate woman, desperate times. Clock is ticking, so she takes the bottom feeders. I don't know what to tell you. The point is that sometimes a man will follow me on Instagram and I go, what the hell are you doing here? You're a straight man. I don't need your business. I'm here for the gays. I'm here for the girls. And if you enjoy anything I do, I support you. But I am shook to my core every time a man follows me on Instagram that is straight. I'm like, are you okay? Is something wrong with you that you like me? I am not for you. I've never been for you. And I am happy to be for you, but it's always suspicious. Like something about it is suspicious to me. It's kind of like I, in my mind, am 19 still. Like I feel really young. I feel childlike. It's probably the fact that I live at home with my parents. But I'll have my dating preferences on apps up to like 36, 40, depending on, my mood. And then sometimes I'll match with someone who's 40 and I'm like, ew, you're a pedophile. Because I think that I'm 19 in my head. Meanwhile, I've matched with a 38-year-old and I'm like, talk to my parents. What the hell? I'm young. I'm 31. I should appropriately be dating someone who's between 30 and 40. Like, that's okay. But in my mind, I'm like, what are you doing here? So I know that some of this is me and my psychotic brain. And I say that about Anyway, the point is that sometimes when a man's following me on social media, I'm like, I assume it's because you're attracted to me and you want to have sex with me. I don't need you liking my comedy. I don't want you liking my comedy. My comedy's not for you. I shouldn't say that before I'm about to put on a show called Sex Jokes for Women, but yet need men to buy tickets for them and their girlfriends. A real good man would be buying a ticket for him and his girlfriend to my show. Number 5, look your best. Give yourself an added... I don't agree with this one right out the gate. I'll say that. But anyway, give yourself an added boost of confidence by looking your very best whenever your crush is around. This is... I don't think this is make the first move. Flirting in person. Oh, this is a different thing. Okay. I got over that article real quick. I'm not going to lie to you. Let's see if how to flirt with your crush is any better. Having a crush is so exciting. I agree with that. Maybe you get butterflies in your stomach when you see them. Maybe your hands get a little clammy and maybe your mood improves right away. Flirting with your crush, that's so true. Your mood improves straight away. It's so funny to think your mood improve straight away when you have a crush, but the pipeline of then getting in a relationship with them and then they know how to piss you off more than anyone else. Let's see the top line. Open with an interesting first message. Ask your crush questions about their life. Compliment your crush on something they are proud of. Oh, that's cute. Tease your crush just a little bit. I think I go too hard on that one. End the conversation with a high note. True. Flirting in person. Make eye contact with a smile while you talk. Open with a question or a compliment. Introduce yourself. See, now all of these things I do and it doesn't diagnose what the problem is. And the problem might just be me. No, the problem isn't me because I told you I'm good at flirting. I just wanted to read a little bit about WikiHow, but it looks like I'm doing absolutely everything perfectly right, to a T. So there's nothing more to really unpack on this one. I don't know if any of this helped you. I would say my main tips about flirting are going to be the same as the WikiHow. It's almost as if I wrote it. But I think that as I've gotten older, the thing that I've really learned and kind of become way more comfortable with is being flirty is like I think flirting and having crush is so much fun. But I think that if you like someone, I also think, this is something I think about a lot. In society, it has become this huge deal to have a crush and make a move. But I think we have to take some of the power away from it being the end of the world to make a move. Like, as soon as you make a move, you get an answer from the person whether or not they are or are not interested in you. And that allows the crush to dissipate. But for myself, for other people, for friends, for everyone that I've seen, you fall in love with this idea of someone that is complete bullshit. Because you don't make a move, so then you read into everything and it becomes this insidious burrowing hole in your head about whether or not everything they're doing toward you is calculated and do they like me and do they not like me. But if you just like straight away, as soon as you think there's a vibe, make a little move. Hey, do you want to grab a drink sometime? Hey, this, hey, that. It neutralizes it so you don't get lost in this fucking Alice in Wonderland creation of what the relationship is. And I say this full well with a crush that I have not made a move on yet. But in the past, I've asked people out a bunch. I'll always, if I'm vibing with a dude, I'll be like, do you want to grab a drink? Do you want to have a coffee? Whatever. So I just think, and it is really embarrassing and you want to kill yourself every single time you have to do it. However, I do just think there is like it's not embarrassing to be like, oh, there's a vibe here, maybe, I think, ? And then be like, oh yeah, or oh no. Then you're like, great, let's move on. I think we make it such a big deal. Like, it's almost so embarrassing to like someone. That's what it feels like in society. But if we just remove some of that like weirdness around it, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, not to be a huge bitch, but your feelings don't matter. So just kind of throw them out there. Am I being inspiring right now? I actually can't even tell. So, top tips for flirting. Thank you for asking. I would say if you see someone you like, I don't care about the hair flip. I don't give a fuck about that. I think a smile is nice. I think a touch goes, to me, a touch goes a long way, and it's a gentle touch. It's a shoulder touch, it's an arm touch, something simple. It's leaning, it's, you know, if you're sitting next to each other, you touch their thigh, like not with your hand, but maybe thigh to thigh, you do a little bit of that. It's being quite like, I also think being like a bit forthright, making sure that you give enough for them to then ask questions and you pay attention and you ask questions, but not basic bitch questions. Do you like your job? Oh God, who cares? That's the sort of question you ask. No boring small talk too. So let's say a light touch, no boring small talk. And if you're like, oh, well, I'm bad at making conversation. Conversation is very easy is very easy. People who don't like know it, here's what it is. Whatever your instinct is to ask a question, like let's say it's something really unhinged and weird. Great, that's how your brain works. Fucking ask that weird ass question, because then they at least know who you are and they'll be like, lol, that was a weird question, I'm into it. Or they'll be like, lol, that was a weird question, I don't like that. And then you know that you're not compatible because you guys obviously don't have enough in common. Open with a weird question, not something so unhinged. Like, don't go crazy and be like, well, Jess Fuchs suggested I ask you, like, if you've ever tried, I don't even know. I was going to say something so unhinged. So, I don't know. And that's my fucked up brain. So, fun, quirky question. Not quirky, but just don't feel like you have to ask, like, the most basic bitch questions. And then my third tip is like, be forward, because you feel good when someone asks you out. Like, you feel good. Or if someone compliments you and is like, oh, I think you're awesome. Like, do you want to get a drink with me? I'm like, slay. I feel hot. Thanks. Yeah. So do that for other people. Even if they don't see you that way, it still is a little like boost, and then it will manifest in the world. You put that energy out, that openness out, and then maybe that'll bring it to you. And I say this full well, being someone who an hour ago was on the touchstarved.com Reddit being like, how do I fix needing a man to lie on top of me? So I'm not, this is me, you know, blind leading the blind in some capacity. I don't know what sexual energy everyone listening to this is up to. So you can let me know in the comments if you're in a relationship and you're like, this was a waste of an episode. Well, it's not a waste of an episode because it's how the other half lives. So you should have some respect for other people. And you can pass this on to some of your single friends. I've got to go. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who's listened to all of the episodes leading up. Some of you, go back, listen to some of your favorites. If you haven't listened to all of them, go back, listen to them. I will be back soon. I just have to take a small break because, like I said, I think I'm trying to do too much, spreading myself too thin, something no medical professional has ever told me. And I think I really want this show that I'm doing in Melbourne and in Sydney, and hopefully we'll film and put online, to be really fucking good. And I need to focus up a little bit more on that and not try to do too many things at once. This will need to take a back seat because I film it, I edit it, I cut all the socials, I upload everything. And a lot of people who do podcasts, they have people who help them with everything, and I think that's awesome, but I don't have that. Not yet. Until we next talk, I wish you nothing but the best of luck. Sending love, sending light, sending a gentle touch of the thigh, sending a smile and a hair toss and a toss like Galinda. Yeah. And like I said, if you want to know how to support me, I genuinely need it. Lol. I am doing it all on my own. So if you are in Melbourne, if you are in Sydney, please come and see a show. If you are not in either of those places, please send the poster to people, share it. I don't know what else. Message me if you work in PR, marketing, anything, and you're like, Jess, try this. Or I'm part of a Facebook group and they love this shit. I'll post it there. I don't know. Whatever. Get on the Reddit threads yourself, bitch. I don't know. But thank you so much for listening and speak to you soon. Mwah.